actually amethyst. That was in Arizona somewhere. I can't remember. It was one of the cool places.
You must have a few air miles, Jay.
I have a lot, but I use them. But I prefer to fly myself, not to be a snob. Well, there's a lot of places I can't go.
You never delayed when you fly yourself.
Well, the thing is, a lot of places I go, we might fly there commercially, but then we'll rent a plane like you saw, or helicopters. Right. A lot of places, to get to places. But I prefer to fly myself, yeah, I mean, once you fly yourself, you never go back.
Andrew Lessman says the same thing.
But I got to tell you, yeah, it's a whole different world. Yeah.
Well, talking of a different world, I'm really mad with myself, and I really am, because there's Jay's launch of his watches, and there's so much excitement tonight. Let me just put it this way. I now know what the rest of the hour is. We have Jay's world launch watch. There's 300 of them. And we have a clearance special at $59, which is going to get the phone lines, they're going to melt down even at this late hour. Just before we get there, Jay, we have to spend 90 seconds because this is brand new green jasper. And what's the, is it agama?
Okay, a magma. And, this is actually a form of jasper on this, and they have green, but it's not really green. I don't know how that got into the thing. This is the coolest stone. I brought some of the rough. It's like almost like a purple. So I don't know how we got green
I don't
into
see the green in it.
There's no green in this. I don't know how that got on the thing, but I'm not taking the heat.
It's not my fault, I promise. I did not ask for this.
This comes from a friend of mine in El Paso that he has this deposit in Mexico.
Wow.
And they dig down this material. It's in a vein. System, but they have to take a backhoe and they have to take 3 to 5 feet of overburden off, and then they just chase this vein down there. It's really unique and very different. And I love jaspers, and jaspers, there are no two jaspers just like agates. There are no two that are identical. They only come from that area, that one region. That's it. So even though there's a lot of jaspers worldwide, there's a lot of agates worldwide, there's no two that are identical. They only come out of that one particular area, they come out of that one particular deposit, and there are no two that will be totally identical. There are people that spend their whole lives writing about different jaspers and different agates, that they spent their whole life writing books on the different agates that they found. Really? A lot of the agates and a lot of the jaspers, agates more so than jaspers, but a lot of jaspers have become very valuable. But there's agates that are highly collectible. Same thing, there's some of the jaspers that are extremely highly collectible. I buy this because he's an American miner, but he's got his deposit in Mexico. I just love the stone. Very unique, very different.
And again, very wearable. The colors, very wearable. Ignore the word green. We really not seeing the green.
Ignore green. I don't know where that came from.
$89.90. Obviously, that will be sold out in the next couple moments. If you want yours, stay in the ordering process. The $59 item, I know a lot of you are asking, we are doing it in a moment. We need to talk about this watch because this watch is probably going to be the biggest thing since sliced bread. Jay, I'm a big fan of really watches in general, and this, you have taken